title of this week's US CQM Forecast Alert is The Effect of June Employment on CQM and PCA Forecasts. These are the main economic indicators updated in this week's CQM and PCA forecast. June employment statistics showed little impact on wages and salaries on the income side because average weekly work hours decreased 0.3%. However, on the expenditure side, the service PCE has been revised upwards. Trade deficit widened significantly as June exported goods rose only 0.3%, well below last week's ADIMA forecast of 4.4%. The service PCE has been revised upward as the employment in service sector increased 642K. The growth rate of real PCE for 2021 Q2 seems to have exceeded 10%. Exported goods rose only 0.3% in June, well below the ADIMA forecast of 4.4% last week. As a result, real net export deteriorated by minus 44.4 billion, much lower than the improvement in PCE of 12.4 billion. CQM forecast wages and salaries in each industry by the product of number of employees, average weekly earnings, and average weekly work hours. With the June employment statistics update, wages and salaries for individual industry has changed slightly, but overall compensation of employees remained almost unchanged. As a result, economic growth rate has been revised downward by 0.73% and 0.09% on the expenditure side and income side respectively. The average economic growth rate on both the expenditure and the income side, which is close to the concept of GDO, was 6.95%. The PCA forecast has revised up the economic growth rate from 4.74% to 5.53% due to the increase in June employment and the rise in S&P 500 in June. The PCA forecast is still 1% to 2% lower than the CQM forecast. Conclusion from this week's CQM forecast alert. First, the difference between the actual exported goods in May and the ADIMA forecast had a major impact on CQM. Second, CQM's economic growth rate has been revised down 0.5% compared to the previous week. Third, PCA's economic forecast is currently 1% to 2% lower than CQM. Fourth, key indicators that reduce the gap in growth forecast for these three approaches include June census-based import and export, and so on. This slide contains additional information about this week's detailed CQM forecast, the original developer of CQM, and CQM theory papers.